Right, good afternoon, everyone. Match 27 of the 1987 Cricket World Cup was played in Bombay today. It was the crucial Group 1 match between New Zealand and Ireland. The winners of that match would guarantee a quarter-final place. If Ireland was to beat New Zealand by a big margin, Ireland would knock New Zealand out of the World Cup. But if Ireland was to beat New Zealand by a small margin, they could potentially have knocked Zimbabwe out of the World Cup. And obviously, if New Zealand won, they'd knock Ireland out of the World Cup. It was a must-win match for Ireland. It was a hard, flat pitch at Bombay, and for the third consecutive match, the team, New Zealand, won the toss and elected to field first. Now, considering no one had chased at Bombay before today, that was a real gamble by Jeff Crow, a massive, massive gamble as well, considering. It was the third consecutive time that the team had elected to field first at Bombay. Obviously, it backfired big time for Zimbabwe and the Rebel South African 11, and they lost by big margins. But this was the outcome of an absolute enthralling, thrilling game. Ireland gave as good as they could get. First time they gone past 200 in the tournament, but that doesn't tell the whole story of what was a staggering performance from the Irish. They scored. They went at 8 and over for 22 overs. They were 155 for 1 from 22.1 overs. 16 for Atash Miraj. 19 for Ian Bilcliffe. 19 for Desmond Chummery. But look at that. The first ever 100 by an associate batsman against Test Play Nation. 111 off just 76 deliveries from John Davison. And his 100 came off 60 balls, the fastest ever 100 in one-day international cricket, and obviously the fastest 100 in World Cup history. He didn't score any runs from his last 13 deliveries, so basically it was 111 off 63 deliveries. He was out-caught to an astonishing catch out in the deep by Stephen Brook, who was on the boundary. He dived backwards one-handed. He managed to stay in the boundary and he managed to come up with the ball. It was one of the most astonishing catches ever. And from that moment on, from 155 for 1, they lost their last 9 wickets for just 47 runs, an astonishing collapse. They went from 8.5 and over to a final run rate of 4.8 and over as New Zealand started to squeeze them. There's nothing really in it for any of the others. As I said, Desmond Chumley got 9, Ian Bilcliffe 8, 12 for Nicholas Ifill, Joe Harris for captain 7, 16 for Nicholas DeGoot, Adesh Bahai 2, a duck for Adrian Covington, Barry Seaman was 1 not out and a duck in the end for Davis Joseph. Extraordinary, 202 all out in 42.5 overs. The last 20 overs they only scored, as I said, they lost 9 wickets for 47 runs in one of the most astonishing collapses ever you ever like to see. The 2 for 19 for part-time Ken Rutherford. 1 for 29, brilliant bowling figures from Stephen Brook and a stunning catch as well. 1 for 35 for Ewan Chatfield. 0 for 32 for star bowler Willie Watson, who's not had a great tournament. 0 for 41 for Martin Snedden. Was very expensive indeed. But look at those figures. He went for 20 runs in his first 5 overs. He came back in his final 5 overs and took 5 for 24. He ended up with 5 for 44. Dipak Patel, wonderful bowling figures. In response, New Zealand chased it relatively comfortably. 40.2 overs it took for them to get 203 for 6, but they never gave up. Ireland. 22 for Ken Rutherford, 12 for oh, hello, it's John. It's got all big. What's happened there? Never mind. Weird, but never mind. 22 for Ken Rutherford, John Wright 12. A duck for Dipak Patel was promoted and it didn't work out for him. But the captain, the mainstay, 26 of just 30 deliveries for Jeff Crow. He edged onto his own stumps and he reacted by smashing his bat in the stumps and whacking his bat through the air. He was fined. He is going to get fined, but he admitted during the post-match presentation that he told the ICC match referee that he said, "You can take all my match fee away. I'll donate 20% of it to the Indian charities." Very, very unlike Jeff Crow. That sums up the pressure he's been under in this World Cup. There was 20 for Andrew Jones and 14 for Martin Snedden. His brother Martin, Jeff Crow's brother Martin Crow was absolutely brilliant. 85 not out of 96 deliveries, the mainstay. A wonderful, wonderful innings under a bit of pressure, and Ian Smith hit 17 off 13 balls towards the end, not out. 203 for 6 in 40.2 overs. They did it comfortably enough, if not convincing. Bowling figures, 50 for 1 for John Davison, 2 for 45 for Nicholas Ifill, Nicholas de Groot, 1 for 28, 1 for 39 for Adrian Condrington, 1 for 27 for Barry Seaburn, and 0 for 12 for Davis Joseph, who only bowled 2 overs. The final summary of this magnificent contest between New Zealand, Ireland and Bombay. New Zealand won the toss on a hard flat pitch in overcast conditions and elected to bowl. A gamble. They ended up bowling Ireland out for 202. Ireland were going at 8.5 and over for 22 overs, and then once John Davison was out for 111, they lost 9 wickets for 47 runs in just 20 overs, and in the end they were all out for 202 in 42.5 overs. New Zealand chased runs down relatively comfortably, if not unconvincingly, 203 for 6 in 40.2 overs. New Zealand winning by 4 wickets, and the man of the match for his record-breaking 111 off just 76 balls, which included 100 of 60 balls, and his 1 for 50 with a ball, was John Davison. What a way for Ireland to bow out the World Cup. They bowed out on their terms, and they were absolutely wonderful today, and New Zealand got a little bit off the hook. This does mean Ireland are out. New Zealand finished 3rd in the table. Zimbabwe finished 4th. That means New Zealand are probably more than likely to play England in the 3rd quarter-final, and Zimbabwe will play India in the 4th quarter-final. That is for sure. Tomorrow's match is Kenya versus Australia. Australia looking to secure their 3rd win of the group stage. Kenya looking to their last chance to gain any points in this World Cup. If Australia were to win big tomorrow, they could overtake England on net run rate and give themselves an outside chance for 2nd place, but then England have got Holland in a couple of days' time to end the group stage, and they should beat Holland on their performances so far in this World Cup. India, of course, guaranteed to finish top of Group 1. My hand is shaking quite a bit, but let's have a look at the New Zealand star players. They've both not really had great games. Jeff Crow and obviously Willie Watson didn't take a wicket. Willie Watson's had a really desperate tournament so far. He's struggled to get wickets throughout this competition. Let's save the archives and the performances. Hey. Right. Well, Jeff Crow, his average has now gone down to 35 of a bat, thanks to that disappointing performance. 175 runs in 5 innings isn't bad, including 150. Didn't bowl today, but he will be disappointed. Well, he was disappointed. He got fined 100% of his match fee, but offered to give 20% of it to charity, or he offered to give he basically conceded his match fee to the ICC match referee. No wicket for Willie Watson. 5 wickets in 5 matches, average 34. Desperately disappointed tournament for Willie Watson in what has been a desperately, at times, frustrating tournament for New Zealand. New Zealand certainly haven't been at their best this World Cup, and you would have to say, them playing England, the way England have played this tournament, England will be definitely favourites against New Zealand. However, Australia can overtake them tomorrow, albeit only for a couple of days, you'd feel. England should beat Holland in their final match. So it looks like New Zealand versus England in the 3rd quarter-final. All we know for sure is that Zimbabwe versus India in the 4th and final quarter-final of this World Cup. But till then, for match 28 tomorrow, which is Kenya versus Australia, this will be Love Tower reporting on the 98-7 Cricket World Cup being played here in India on Brian Lower Cricket and PlayStation. It's a very goodbye from me.